I'm just sitting here in a very noisy chair, drinking some luscious Java. I didn't say Jawa, I said Java. From this guy.
Attractive you are. Yeah. Connect with me you want to. Eye contact must eye contact with connection to me. Pay attention. Do or do not.
If you're new around here, I am Steve Harper, also known as Mr. Ripple. I turn ordinary connections into extraordinary relationships. How do I do that? I help identify, develop, and grow key relationships that you depend on for your success. So if you are trying to build a better network, or you are a leader of an organization trying to attract better talent, or sustain and retain your customers, we should talk. Today I want to talk to you about eye contact. As Yoda just said, eye contact is super critical. This is one of the skill sets that I think that is talked about a lot, but very few people actually know to practice it. I remember a couple of years ago, I was training out at Dell, and I know that I got some pushback on this because I know certain cultures, there is a challenge there. And you have to obviously know your audience, right? So if you're going into a meeting, researching that person's background, maybe where they grew up, having a foundational understanding of different cultures is important. Some people think eye contact is rude. Some people think if you hold it too long, it is a sign of disrespect or intimidation. There is a balance and an art form to it. And sometimes people that we meet in life, we can't possibly know what all of that means to them. But what we can do is exhibit the best possible visual representation of ourselves, which is, this is the billboard, and I'm covering it with glasses right now. These are the billboards that we have. These are the ones that say we're expressive, we're open, we want to connect, and we want to engage. You don't want to be that stalker, creepy guy that's, yeah, what's up? Or be like Larry David, what are you trying to say, right? You have to understand that there is an art form, just like in any and every aspect of connecting. You have to figure out what works for you and what makes sense. And you have to sort of gauge the other person and see when you are maybe getting a little bit too close to stepping over the line, right? You're like, I mean, that's probably not appropriate in a business meeting, but having intent. Eye contact actually, when used correctly, shows that you are engaged in the conversation, that you're paying attention. And I see it as a total sign of respect, right? And so one of the things that I always encourage people to do is to check in with your eye contact. How are you doing? How well are you maintaining it? I remember doing that training out at Dell, and I remember somebody coming up and saying, I'm just not good at it. I'm very shy and introverted. So how do you overcome that as a shy and introverted person? And my thing is that I look at the tip of the nose. I look at someone's nose, not necessarily in their eye, but they feel like they are making contact there. And I'm also, when I come into a meeting, I say, it's very important to me that you know that I'm paying attention, but I like to process things. And so I sometimes look away. It's not intentional. It's not because I'm not here. I am. Sometimes I'm a little slow, so it takes me a little bit to get going. And oftentimes I will take notes. And a lot of times people don't think about that. But when you open up a notebook, say, hey, is it okay? I know we're going to be sharing some nuggets here, and I want to make sure I capture those. And so I don't want you to ever think I'm not fully present. You just set the table there for eye contact. But don't just listen to me. I want you to listen to someone who is way more famous than me, has been way more successful than me, a Hollywood producer, author of 2 books, really, really great guy, Brian Grazer. He's the better half of the partnership of Imagine Entertainment. Ron Howard is his partner. You might remember Ron from Opie on the Andy Griffith Show, or Richie Cunningham, Happy Days. But these 2 guys have done some amazing things. Brian Grazer wrote a book called Curious Mind that I read years ago, and I loved it, read it multiple times actually. And then I found out that he wrote another book that I'd missed called Face to Face, The Art of Human Connection. Found it at the library, I've been digging into it, really digging it and loving it, but he talks about eye contact. And I thought, boys and girls, settle in and let's have a little bit of story time, okay? Brought to you by Brian Grazer from Face to Face. Not a commercial, certainly not a sponsor. Wish he would. He's successful, probably living in a mansion out at Hollywood. He can afford it. But, alas, I digress. Anyway, here we go. Yeah, ready? Settle in. Yeah. Although eye contact was always key to my curiosity conversations, I wasn't practicing it consciously or even aware I was doing it in the beginning. It wasn't something I thought about and certainly wasn't an approach I had adopted in my everyday encounters. It never even crossed my mind to do so until Ron Howard called me out. After my delivery days with Warner Brothers were over, I went to work for a hot-tempered television VP named Edgar Schreck. I think I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Schreck offered me a deal I couldn't refuse. Whatever you can sell, you can make. And that was my Hollywood producer voice. So I sold a TV movie. It did really well and led to other well-received projects, including a prestigious series on the 10 Commandments. No partu Ritzy. I used my success to leverage an exclusive contract with Paramount. That's where I met Ron. Ron, who was an actor, wanted to direct movies, and I wanted to produce them. And so our partnership began. Together, we co-founded Imagine Entertainment, where we've been partners for the last 35 years and counting. Even back in our 20s, Ron always had exceptional communication skills. One day, in his very kind way, he shared an observation with me. Do you realize you seldom look at other people in the eye when we're meeting with them? Ron asked. It was 1980, and we were sitting in my office on the same Paramount lot where we met. We just spent time with the writers Lowell, Gans, and Babalu Mandel, who would later go on to write Night Shift, Splash, and other movies with us. I had been multitasking, as was my habit during meetings back then. I would read something or jot a list of what I had to do that week while others were talking. I wasn't thinking about it. I just what I did. In 2019, the book obviously is a little bit old. I know that multitasking when even people are trying to talk to you isn't good. No, it's not good at all. It's not only disrespectful, but it sucks the air out of the room. Absolutely. At the time, however, I didn't immediately grasp what Ron was trying to tell me. Slow learner. What do you mean? I responded. Were you really listening to what Lowell, and Babalu, awesome name by the way, were saying? Of course, I heard every word of it. Maybe, but you weren't looking at them. Italicized for emphasis in the book. I just don't know how to italicize my voice. Looking at them is the best I can do. If you don't look at them when we're talking, it hurts their feelings. But I heard everything I said. It doesn't matter, he said. If you don't look at people in the eye when they talk, they don't feel respected. This struck me. I distinctly remember being on the receiving end of this sort of behavior. At the outset of my career, I've met one of the most powerful agents in Hollywood. He never looked me in the eye. Instead, he looked right through me or right past me whenever I saw him or tried to talk to him. It made me feel like a nobody because I could tell he didn't care one bit about what I had to say. We've all had that experience, meeting someone at a party who looks over our shoulder while they talk to us. Never feels good. But it wasn't until Ron pointed out to me that I realized I might have sometimes been doing this myself. I couldn't help but wonder if my actions were making people feel the way I had felt with that agent. I share this because this book is really good, really good. Brian Grazer does a phenomenal job about these conversations that he has, this approach that he takes to having a curious mind and this art of human connection. And I'm all about that. But it blows me away that we don't practice our eye contact nearly enough to understand or appreciate how good we do it or how we don't. And vast majority of us think we probably are doing all right. And the reality is we're probably not. We are living even more so. He wrote that in 2019. We're in 2024. Don't know when you'll eventually discover this video. Hopefully I will make it big and viral at some point. You'll come back and watch all of these. And so maybe this is in 2026 that you're reading this or watching this and you're like, that dude was making some great content way back when. Thank you very much. Just like I'm doing with Brian Grazer. Great content back in 2019, applicable today, right now. But we think about this so seldom that we don't put enough emphasis or focus on doing it and practicing it and recognizing when we need to get better at it. And the reality is we all need to get better. We are living in a distracted society, which means there's so much going on and we have the attention spans of a gnat. When we require ourselves to maintain some level of commitment to have eye contact with another person, even if it is in a 2D world where we're talking on a Zoom, it makes all the difference. It shows that person that you respect what they're saying, it's that you're fully present and that you are engaged in the conversation. And you want to talk about a powerful conversation, powerful way to connect and build momentum around that conversation. That is the way to do it. And so I wanted to make this video because it is in important skill that I don't think that you or myself are practicing nearly enough. And it's a great first step in taking your journey towards being a better connector and, of course, a better rippler. So there you have it. That is what I have to say.
Good advice. Young Padawan has been paying attention.
I'm splashing myself out of your brain, Yoda.
Not my fault. Not my fault.
You took my head off so you could drink from it.
The wisdom. Eye contact. Eye contact. Get in focus. Focus on me.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm all choked up with the wisdom, man. Actually, I just swallowed wrong. Anyway, food for thought. Do me a favor. Go out this week. In every conversation opportunity you have, improve on your eye contact. Focus on your eye contact and do what you can to be present in every conversation and watch how differently things evolve for you this week. All right, guys, go out there, make a difference in the world, make a difference in someone's life. You will make a difference in your own life. And as always, ripple on.